years, I guess, at that time. But yeah, that was a while back. I remember it.
So tell the world why they should buy your book.
Well, why the world should buy my book, and I mainly wrote this book for black people, you know, and I guess for men in particular, because I knew that most black men saw the world pretty much the same way I saw it, with a few variances. But for the most part, most black men, they are looking for a way that they can support their family members, you know, where they can help their mom, their sisters, their brothers, their kids. They want to be providers. They don't want to be on welfare, even though I know the system makes it appear that we want it like that we're lazy, that we're dumb, and that we're stupid. That's not the case. But what we do need is some guidance. We do need some ideas, because, say for instance, me, myself, when I was coming up, I didn't know anybody who owned a business. You know, I had never worked in a business, so I didn't have a clue about what I should be doing. You know, my hopes and aspirations of getting out of the ghetto was to be an athlete. You know, a football player, basketball player, and then when I got to high school, I didn't grow, so none of the high school coaches talked to me about playing basketball or football, so I turned to tennis as an alternative, because I was still looking for a way out of the ghetto. So when I wrote this book, I wrote the book with that in mind, that was the case with most black men. Also, while I was in prison, a lot of young guys, you know, used to look up to me, and they would come up to me and they would tell me stuff like, Rick, when I was selling drugs, I couldn't get up to $1,000. Why was you able to make $1 million and I wasn't able to make $1,000? Well, what I did is I analyzed that conversation, and I figured out that the reason these guys couldn't make $1 million is because they didn't know how. They didn't analyze their game to figure out what it was they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. So what I did is I documented what it took for me to make $1 million. And I also believe that those same skills are transferable, meaning that the same skills that we use to sell drugs, well, we could use it to sell books, we can use it to sell t-shirts, cars, trucks, a bakery, a hamburger stand, real estate. These same principles work in no matter what field you go into.
Okay. So what do you think of the drug game today?
Well, I believe the drug game is a trap for the government to lure the entrepreneurs into believing that it's an escape, when really it's a trap. When you look at most black men, their first hero or role model more than likely is going to be a drug dealer. When you go into the ghettos, there's no black businesses in our area. So the first time that you see somebody who looks like you, who are doing something, it's more than likely it's a drug dealer. And we have a tendency to want to be like people who look like us, you know, people that we can relate to. When you see these other people on TV and of different colors, you don't know how they made it, so you don't feel that you can do it. But when it's somebody who you know, and you know that they're human, and you know that they make mistakes, and they've made mistakes, and if they accomplish a goal, then you feel like that you can do the same thing they did.
Okay. So what advice would you have for today's hustler?
Well, what I try to tell most hustlers is that they're brilliant, and I understand what they're going through, but not to let themselves get caught up, because once you get caught up in the system, it's hard to get out. You know what they say, trouble is easy to get in and hard to get out. But they're brilliant, and they just have to find out how to take those skills and channel those same hustling skills into a different venue.
Something positive or something else.
Correct.
Okay. So what is your opinion of the medical and the cannabis, you know, the medical marijuana and the cannabis culture today? You got an opinion on that?
Absolutely.
Because it's legal.
I think that that we definitely should be getting involved in medical marijuana. I think it's the last gold rush of this century. I'm in it myself. I've had 2 dispensaries, not in my name, in my brother's name, because they won't let convicted fellas have it. But I was the one behind him, spurring him on to make the moves and what he should be doing. Right now, they're having a shake-up in LA with the licensing, and my whole family will be standing in line to get licenses. Even if you don't plan on using the license, you could. If somebody would have got a license in LA when they first issued them in 2007, I was still in prison. But if you'd have got that license, the license cost $250. Right now, that same license will sell for $4 million and up. So literally, if you would have got one of those licenses, you would have hit the lottery. And with that kind of money, you could put your family up for a long time. And the only thing that they did is that they just kept up with the laws. They kept up with what City Hall was doing, when they were going to be issuing out the licenses, and so forth. So I definitely encourage everybody to look into it. You know,
because it's legal in Michigan too. They got a lot of dispensaries just popping up all up and down Michigan too.
Yeah, well, I think it's illegal in some form in 15 states right now. I don't know if you know, but in Colorado, they say that every kid in Colorado has a computer now because of the medical marijuana laws in Michigan. California, they say this year, well, maybe not this year, next year, California is going to be, an industry is going to be from $25 billion to $50 billion next year. So it's definitely a field that black entrepreneurs should be looking in. Even Warren Buffett said that anybody who considered himself a serious business person and they're not looking at the medical marijuana business, then something was wrong with them.
Okay. So what can we expect from you in the next 5 years?
Next 5 years, I don't know. Donald Trump won the presidency, so so anybody can win it. I don't know. I'm gonna be shooting movies. You know, I plan on doing movies that that will uplift us and show our true lives and our true stories, our real struggles. I plan on to continue going around the country, you know, talking to people, educating them, you know, selling my book. I have another book that I want to publish soon. I just plan on to continue to do the work that I'm doing right now. So you can look forward to me doing this. You know, hopefully I'm gonna come back here in the library and speak when it's packed with people.
So how can people order your book?
They can go get my book off my website, freeway.rickyross.com.
And that's how they can book you for book signings and appearances too? They
can do that as well, absolutely. Okay. I'm still planning on going around the country. I'm going to probably stay on the road at least another 6 to 8 months on this book tour. My goal is to sell 100,000 books. I'm also working with another company I just signed up called 5 Inks. If anybody out there interested, they can also hit me up on those on my website to get information about that as well.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.